Good morning, everyone. A little bit of a late live cross this morning. Mark from Port Campbell Visitor Information Centre. Coming at you live from the Port Campbell Discovery Walk. And I'll be talking a little bit about Timboon's 150th celebrations this week. And you might ask, why am I doing a talk about Timboon's 150th celebrations from Port Campbell? Well, that will become evident. And as you know, Timboon just 17 kilometres inland from Port Campbell. And we're on the Port Campbell Discovery Walk, coming at you live from one entrance to the Discovery Walk, which is via Port Campbell's delightful suspension bridge. We're looking up Campbells Creek, which is barred at the moment. And in looking at Campbells Creek, I'd like to pay my respects to the Giray Wurrung people of Eastern Maar Nation and acknowledge their deep and ongoing connection to this incredible part of country. As we watch the course of the river, I want you to consider for a minute a people that some 18,000 years ago were interacting with a coastline 78 kilometres south of this point. The course of the Gellibrand River headed out in a southeasterly direction from here. So Gellibrand River estuary is also closed at the moment. Easterly winds, time of year, and low water flows, resulting in barring of a lot of river systems around here. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're watching from. Some people starting off their day beautifully with a walk across Port Campbell Suspension Bridge. They'll be on their way up to me and on the Discovery Walk, and we're going to take a little bit of a walk back now. We'll first have a bit of a look at the emerging Port Campbell streetscape, sited for completion late March, very early May, and you can see some of the viewing platforms under the Norfolk pines there, and some of the works to widen and flatten the main foreshore connection to the township. Mark from Port Campbell Visitor Information Centre. Let us know where you're watching from. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I know it's an odd time of day for us to be coming at you live, but we're going to go back and have a little bit of a look, not down the steps, but back to the top of the steps. And instead of turning left onto the Discovery Walk proper, we're going to turn right. We're going to talk a little bit more about Timboon and its 150th celebrations this weekend. So if you're coming down here, a wonderful opportunity to interact with community and celebrate the wonderful town of Timboon. Consider in the 1890s with rail coming through to Timboon. We're going to just turn right. G'day, Teresa. Left, and we'd be going out over the ocean to beautiful views back past Port Campbell, over Port Campbell Bay towards Lockhart Gorge. But we're hanging a right here. And I want you to consider Timboon. 1890s, the wreck of the Lockhart and other earlier or later wrecks of like the Fiji that were capturing the imagination of the Victorian public. All of a sudden you had access near to the coast. You had horse and cart taking people along the coast, along the old coach road between Port Campbell and Princetown, which actually had more guest houses and accommodation than Port Campbell did at that time. Places like a Rivernook guest house, Ozone guest house, the Fiji Coffee Palace in Princetown. Have a look at this magnificence. We're going to go to a little bit of a lookout over Port Campbell, and then I'm going to come back and show you why I'm going to talking about Timboon and Timboon's 150th celebrations. I'm going to post a full program of events so anyone in the area can take on. G'day, Jeff. Take the opportunity for live music, cabaret, by booking a bond store tour of the distillery, a street parade, a whole weekend of activity in Timboon. We're just going to head back out now to a trail that goes all the way from Port Campbell to Timboon. Pupayanyin Mering, the Timboon Port Campbell Trail at this point. 18 kilometres in this direction. You're going to wind up via Powers Creek Trail, beautiful leafy trail, into Timboon. And 2 kilometres in this direction, you're going to wind up in Port Campbell. So this is Pupayanyin Mering in Girey Wurrong, a journey through country, the Timboon Port Campbell Trail. And as we celebrate Timboon this weekend with its 150th celebrations, we celebrate the communities that have kept the rail trail open from Camperdown to Timboon after the rail closed, and the communities that have acknowledged the importance of a ride and walking for transport and recreation, and have fought for this trail, Pupayanyin Mering, that connects Timboon to Port Campbell. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're watching from. G'day Jim, Jeff. I can see a few people on board. Teresa, how you going? Rochelle. Please feel free to leave a comment, or if you're just here for the views like I am and a little bit of conversation, please leave a comment. Know that we'll answer any questions you might have. And this, as always, is an output of Port Campbell Visitor Information Centre. We're here to answer your questions and inspire you that you might want to come and visit and spend a few days here, so we can get you to the right places at the right time. You can be hanging out here with a coffee and a keep cup from a local cafe. You might have ridden out here from Port Campbell Holiday Park, or one of the many accommodation options in Port Campbell. You might be staying at Timboon Ice Cream Cottages, one of the wonderful accommodation options in Timboon, and ridden down here for a dip and a coffee and lunch before riding back home. Certainly e-bikes have given people a lot more scope, and it's wonderful, you know, the age range and fitness ability of people we see coming in, and they've got their e-bikes, or they're hired an e-bike and they're riding into Timboon and back. 40 kilometres, you know, that's a fair old ride without any assistance, and within the reach of, you know, a few people. But put yourself on an e-bike, one you've hired from here or one you've bought with you, and that just becomes an incredible option. You can leave your car at your accommodation in Timboon or in Port Campbell and start to explore all that's wonderful on foot and on bike. You can see, for scale, some people walking down on the beach there. And for those of you that came on board late, we were talking about Campbells Creek, and just 18,000 years ago, Campbells Creek meandered out in a southeasterly direction to a point 78 kilometres south of here. During that time, there were still active volcanics on our volcanic lakes and plains. You can see some families riding out there through the holiday park, and it's wonderful to know that they got this beautiful off-road trail. At this point, only 12 kilometres in this direction, and you're at Schultz Organic Creamery and Cafe. And, you know, after 10 a.m, right now, in fact, you could be having some of Healer's Delicious Treats, or continuing on a little bit further into Timboon, picking berries at Berry World, visiting Babcha Wines, getting some sweets for the kids and a little bit of sweet. Visiting the ice creamery, distillery. Did I mention picking strawberries at Berrywell? Always front of mind for a lot of visitors. So there we have it. I'm going to plot a run or a walk for people over the next time I'm in at work. I reckon I might do it, where I'm going to run out and I'll put up a relive. So there'll be a video and a computer animated aerial vision. Up here, I'm going to take a left turn out on the Discovery Walk for 2 kilometres, come back to the head of the steps. I'm going to go out over the suspension bridge. I'm going to walk out past the new viewing decks under the Norfolk pines that you can see starting to take shape there. I'm going to run out past the jetty to a lookout on the edge of Beacon Point there. I'm going to go up past the secondary lookout, past the town cenotaph that you can see there. I'm going to go on, cut through town, and there's a little network of gravel trails that link around town, and then I'm going to come back. I'm probably going to start it from the Visitor Information Centre. Elizabeth, if you're watching, I'll be in there back in a minute. Start it from the Visitor Information Centre there and finish it there, so people have got a reference point and they can do a walk. I suspect it's going to be about 6 or 6.5 kilometres, maybe longer, and I may be a little more puffed than I anticipated, but I can always stop and walk, can't I? Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're watching from. Mark from Port Campbell Visitor Information Centre. Have a look in comments. I'm going to post very quickly a full program for Timboon's 150th celebrations. And for those of you that are coming out on a long weekend, it's going to be a lot of traffic on the roads. Please pause, stop every 2 hours to give you a much better chance of arriving safely at your destination. As you can see, there's quite a bit of ocean swell. It's going to be a warm weekend. Port Campbell Bay will be patrolled and would be our only suggestion for safe swimming experiences over the weekend. Please take care near the water, even if you're walking on the beaches. As I said, a little bit of welly in the swell. And have a great day wherever you're watching from. Let us know where you'd like us to come to live next. Please go and check out Timboon's 150th celebrations. There'll be a full list of activities in comments. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're watching from. And I'll leave you with this beautiful visage of Port Campbell and a little bit of a tempter for Pupa Yanyin Meering, the trail that connects Timboon, 18 kilometres in that direction, to Port Campbell, 2 kilometres in this direction. Beautiful off-road gravel trail with some boardwalk and bridge treatments for your entertainment on the way. Adios, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful long weekend.